So I'm gonna tell you the story about my meeting with the oracle. So me and my friend that I started the first podcast with, before we decided to start that podcast, we were like we had found each other, and that was important because we were like supporting each other on the journey, and that is really important, to find someone that you can be free with. That is so important. So we, I was his manager, I was his boss, and but we were like messing around and talking about all the spiritual world and everything, and not doing what we were supposed to do. Anyway, one day he have stumbled upon an old lady, 85-year-old, and she was living in a town like a couple of hours away from us, and she had her own crystal shop, but she was getting tired and looking for someone to take over the business. And this guy, he was like so hyped that he was going to take over the business and do this crystal shop. And of course he wasn't, because he wasn't able to have the structure in that. But anyway, he had his mind to that, and he told me about this woman, and I just felt immediately that we need to visit her. We like need to travel home to her home and talk with this lady. And I didn't know why, but I just said, just arrange a meeting with her. Let's go home to her place and see what she has to offer. So he talked with her, and she was happy to see us, and we agreed to visit her. And that day, it was a Saturday, we were going there, in the car, hyping each other, you know, about ourselves and our spiritual journey and everything we knew and our knowledge. We didn't know shit, but we we was a little high on ourselves. Well, we drove in front of her house, and we were just struck by the energy in the area around her house. We're like, what is going on here? I never felt such a calm before. And we came out of the car, it was just out of this world, the energy. We went knocking on her door. She opened the door. She looked at the both of us, this 85-year-old woman, a small but loving 85-year-old woman. And she said, boys, you gotta get your shit together because you are all over the place. And I couldn't believe it, and she but she welcomed us in. She had several rooms full of crystals, all kind of crystals, and we were like kids in a candy shop. And she had all kind of stories of how she have got hold of the one crystal after another, and you know uh, telling us about the effects of different stones and how to use them, and how she have used them through the years, and how she ended up as a healer. And she have been working as a healer for 50 years. Can you imagine? the experience she had, you know? And we came there with, you know, high on ourselves and on our spiritual journey. And she was just shifting our energy. Something happened when we were there. And so we were just following and listening to what she had to say. And then she said, boys, let us sit down and talk about what comes next for you. And to my friend, she said, you need to find out what you want to do, because you're all over the place, and there is 1,000 ideas and projects, so you need to find out what to do. And to me she said, and I haven't we haven't told her much. She was the one talking, and we, for once in our life, we understood that now is the time to listen. So she said, with your energy, your healing energy, and you want to reach out to people, but how can you reach out to people if you're not telling your truth, if you're not being honest with yourself, and if you're not telling people what you think, what you feel, and who you actually are? Do you think that people will find out themselves? And that was actually what I was hoping. And this you can relate to your own life. Do you think that people around you know what you're thinking? Or do you need to express yourself? And she said, when you express yourself, you're getting vulnerable. But what you're actually doing is that you're taking off your shield and letting people in. And if you don't take off your shield and invite people in, how do you expect people to know about you, to know about your abilities, and for your path open up? Because now you're stuck and you need to go down that path that is meant for you. So open up. What is the worst thing that can happen? Well, people can laugh, but they won't. Trust me, when you first start this journey, Jonas, they will not laugh. And you need to follow this path, and people need you to follow this path. And you can't decide what to happen down that path. You just need to be open-minded. And then she talked to both of us. So again, boys, just pull your shit together and and go on with it. She smiled, she took a strawberry, ate it, and she sat there for several minutes just in silence. And we were just starstruck. And she said, that silence is what it is all about. Silence. Everything and nothing. And where the magic happens. And she said, well, good luck. I'm tired. Have a nice drive home and all the best. And I haven't heard from her since. I don't know if she's alive or whatever, but she just made such a big difference in my thinking, in my beliefs, and everything. So I really appreciate that meeting with her, and that I ended up there. And again, people, if you try to be logical, you will never end up in those kind of situations, those kind of conversations and relations. So you just need to like be open-minded and see what can happen, because you may meet a 85-year-old oracle. She was an oracle, and she may change your life. So good luck on that one, and again, all the best.